Hi everyone. So today is the 10-year anniversary of the death of Nelson Mandela. And for me, I went to university in South Africa at Wits University. So it is a day that I remember his life along with millions of other people. But for me, it is special. When I went back to South Africa on my last trip, my friend Maria had taken me to the statue, to see the statue they put up for him. And I went to Cape Town. I wanted to go to Robben Island, but unfortunately they were fully booked. It gets booked months in advance, so I didn't get to do that. But they played an important role in my formation, in what I learned at Wits about racism and the hatred between different races. I had never encountered that before until I had gone to South Africa. Zimbabwe was different. I think when we got our independence, people were just happy and we just wanted to get on with our lives and to live in harmony. But South Africa was different, and we also had violent crime in Zimbabwe. We had the police dogs that used to attack people, especially non-whites. We got targeted. But it was different when I went to Wits, and I was there when Mandela got released, and also when they won the World Cup, the rugby. So I have very special memories of him. And that was something that was central to what I wanted to be remembered for, is that I worked for what was fair in my life and the lives of others. And I did not support this corruption that went on with FIFA, with them buying the World Cup. And it's very hard for us who have left Africa and we've come out and we're being treated like slaves in the countries that we are now in. But I continue to work for that. That's the legacy that I want to leave. And I continue to work towards my vision. And for today's John Maxwell, I'm going to finish off that chapter on the law of legacy. So some people say you have to get it right the first time. But unfortunately, for some of us, we're not like the Americans. We don't often get it right the first time. We need a few tries before we get it right. And a legacy is something that you leave in people. It's the people your life has touched in your workplaces, the countries you've lived in, the people who will remember you, and how they will remember you. So I posted the clip of the speech that I sent in. I didn't go to U of T for his memorial that they had at U of T. I was advised not to go because of the history between U of T and Wits. But I did what I could to mend things. I did what I could to build bridges. And I don't think anybody could have asked more of me. John Maxwell says in here, Eleanor Roosevelt is reputed to have said life is like a parachute. You've got to get it right the first time. And for all of us, life here is finite. It's going to come to an end at some point. And we try to have a compass of where we're going, what we'd like to do, what we'd like to accomplish. Unfortunately, in Canada, there is a lot of racism and there is a lot of discrimination. We still have things where, if you're going as a care worker, especially for women, you could be abused on the job sexually. I've heard from a lot of Filipino women regarding that. And most people don't lead their lives, they simply accept it. If you want to lead your life, you are always going to be coming up against opposition. Because whether it's getting a job or getting an opportunity to study or getting to travel, there are millions of other people that want to do the same things as you. And so you have to learn to be resourceful. You have to plan ahead if you can about what you want to do. You have to set your goals and set big goals. Even if you don't accomplish them, at least you know you tried. There's that old saying that, if you jump jump for the moon, at least you'll land among the stars. Now, we don't want to hurt ourselves, but we do want to have big dreams and big goals. And for me, I want to have something of my own. That's why I bought my place when I came to Canada. And unfortunately, one job loss changed everything for me. But I'm not giving up. I still want to have my own property. And I'm going into my 50s, which is sad. But sometimes life turns out like that because everybody's working against you, especially like the guys that are in banking, because they're like, we want to do that, what you're doing. Whole companies are trying to do what you're doing. So you don't get the support. That's what happened when I tried to arrange the exchange student program between University of Waterloo and University of Wits. I had the support of the senior leaders in this country, Jean Chrétien and other people, but the lawyers pulled it back. So we were not able to get that program going. And it would have been very good because I wanted to set up a program where nurses, doctors would be able to come and study in Canada, and medical health professionals from here would be able to go to Wits. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. I kept emailing them, and then they're like, oh, they decided not to go ahead with it, which is unfortunate because the political leaders and Wits University had a lot of goodwill towards getting it done. But at least I know I tried, and at least I know that I made the effort wherever I could. So we have achievements like graduating. We do those things on our own. Of course, there's others there helping us. And then we have success when that happens. Significance when we do great things with others. And then the legacy, what we're going to leave in others. And that's the most important thing, I think. If you look at the artists like Olivia Newton-John, she had cancer, but she lived her life with hope. We strive to get well. We strive to accomplish great things, and we strive to reach our destination and our dreams. We don't give up on them. And I think that's important. Even with what I'm doing with the One campaign, we are people of all religious backgrounds. We are people of all colors, all traditions, all walks of life. But we have a common goal that we want to end poverty, that we want to help women and girls, the most vulnerable, that we want to see people lifted out of poverty. And for me, it was what Mandela said, that we can be that great generation. But if everyone's working against us, it makes it hard. That's why we come together. And even now the African Development Bank has their initiative for women. Canada's a part of that. Canada's investing in those loans that the women are receiving. I can't get a loan here for my John Maxwell, but I'm happy for the women there that are getting that, because it's not easy when you're a woman, whether you're here in Canada or whether you're in Africa. And in Africa, it can be 100 times harder, believe you me. So I'm happy that those changes are coming out for them. And I don't watch the whole thing because it's the whole day, it's like 9 hours. But I do pick which ones I want to watch, and I watch them. And change comes slowly in society. With the Mother Teresas and the sisters, the things they've accomplished, they did encounter opposition. They did encounter people telling them that they couldn't do it, that it was impossible. But God opens doors when people say no. And God brings things together when people are working against us. There is no way that apartheid would have fallen in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, without the grace of God. So our faith is also important. And we have to develop our relationships. We have to be able to communicate what it is that we want. And others have to understand us. So that's important. We have to take opportunities when they come. And for me, I mean, the opposition never seems to end, especially when it comes to Wits. It's not easy in this country. But U of T did invite me 10 years ago when Madiba passed away. And I'm not one to, I guess, Wits knew, and Fazila, who I took over from, knew that it probably would upset me if I went. So, because I'm not one to be all about, oh, it's a celebration of life and happy, and I'm not that type of a person. So I'm glad I didn't go. And it was nice of them to remember him, because the relationships have not always been easy. And even when I was at Wits, I had to do a lot of work, especially in the white community, to get them to build bridges, because there was a lot of hatred. And it was not easy for me going from Zimbabwe to South Africa. But whatever little I did, I did. And I still believe that we can be that great generation for Madiba. We can still be that light of hope in a dark place. We can still be the ones standing up to corruption. We can be the ones that are saying we want to make poverty history for ourselves and others. We want to have money in our bank accounts. We want to have something of our own. And we can help the people in Africa and our own communities there. There are Indians in Africa, there are whites in Africa, there are coloreds in Africa, people of mixed race. And at the end of the day, all of us probably are mixed race. I don't think there's anybody who isn't. But that's what we can strive for, and that's what we can work towards. And for me, I want to leave that legacy in my nieces, in my nephews, in my friends, and whoever is left behind once I'm gone. I want them to remember it. It's the same thing with Elvis Presley. You'll see people copying his style, his backdrops that he used, the way he moved, because that's the legacy. People want to remember him, and they want to remember the good. And that's what we would all like, is for people to remember the good we did, even in the face of opposition, even in the face of tremendous challenges, even in the face of people calling us the problem when we're not actually the problem. So that's what you can think about in your workplaces, in your churches, in your communities, and we can be that great generation. I'm not giving up, so you shouldn't either.